Hey everyone, welcome to JS Cafe and welcome to the very first video of the new series React Design Patterns. So, without wasting any time, let's get started. So, in the very first video, we will be discussing about React HOC pattern. And before jumping into the topic, let us discuss what this series is all about. So, in this series, we will be talking about various types of design patterns that is followed at the industry level. By design pattern, we actually mean how does we write a business logic in React, and how do we make sure that it is reusable across various components, and what is the best style to create a component, because as a front end developer and as a React developer, it is very crucial for us to create components that are very smart and as well as that are very scalable as well. So having an understanding of design patterns is very crucial if you are a React developer. So this was overall about the design patterns, and React HOC pattern is one of the patterns that we are going to discuss today. So if you are not aware, HOC stands for higher order components. And if you are not aware what HOC is, so let me define it for you. So HOC is nothing but it receives a component, it applies certain logic, and then returns that components with those additional logics, right? So what we mean that is we supply a component to that HOC. Okay, consider HOC as a component that receives a component, applies certain logic on that, and at the end returns a component. And when we return that component, we receive the component with the added logic or the styles or whatever that particular HOC has done. So in this way, once we create a HOC that applies certain patterns to components, then we are in a position to apply this particular logic across multiple components, right? It is like write once and use everywhere, or use in many times, right? This is the power of HOC actually. And yeah, so this was about HOC, and let's discuss when to use HOC actually. So we use HOC in the places where we want to apply same logic across multiple components. As said earlier, this is a HOC that takes a component, applies logic, and returns the component that has all the logics, all the functionalities added to it. So this is extremely very powerful HOC component. And for you, I have also created one component, HOC component for you. So I'll discuss the use case with you, what we are going to build right now. So suppose there comes a use case that there are certain elements, there are certain components of which you want to calculate height and width, right? Let's suppose in this particular app.js file, which is the entry file, which is actually not the entry file, which is basically the file which you are seeing over here, contains two components, comp1 and comp2. And as you can see in the output, I am actually printing out the width of those components, right? If you have a look at the styles .css file, I have given a width of 200 pixels to component 1 and a width of 250 pixels to component 2, and somehow I am able to print those values when the components are rendered. Okay, and it is up to the component whatever they want to do with this particular value. Like, let's suppose I gave a component of functionalities to become aware of its height and width, and now it is up to that particular component do whatever what you want to do with that information, right? It's not my concern. So this is the use case, and I'll quickly show you what these comp1 and comp2s are. So basically, comp1 is nothing, just a div tag saying, hey, I am comp1, and my width is props dot width. Notice that we are getting the width in the props magically somehow. We'll see how we got it. And the same is with comp2, that which is very similar, and it is a div tag saying, hey, I am oh, there's a typo. It should be actually comp2. It should say so it is saying, hey, I am comp2 with width of 250. Great. And wait, what is this file with dimensions.js? I haven't seen this before. So this is our HOC. Okay, with dimensions.js is our HOC file. This is the heart of this video. Okay, so I'll just give you an overview of this particular file, and followed by that we'll start writing this code from scratch. Okay. So this HOC component, you can see that it is receiving the element, which is the first part, right? We discussed that it receives a component. So component is actually element over here. Okay. And what this function is doing, this function is actually returning another function, which is width dimensions. Okay. So this width dimension function, notice, careful notice that this particular function and this particular function, they both have the same name. But generally, what the market standard says, that any component that needs to be rendered, right, the nomenclature of that component is that the initial letter should be capital, right? Notice this particular function with dimension has a lowercase w, and this particular function has a uppercase w, which means that this is just a wrapper function, and this particular is actually a functional component for us. Okay, this is a functional component which receives the props, right? How do we write a functional component, right? Let's see over here. We write const comp1 equals to, we receive the props and we return the JSX, right? This is what we do. And this is the same with dimensions over here. We receive the props and we are having some basic React thing, and we are returning a JSX, right? As said before, that this element is a component, which is a JSX in itself. So we are actually returning a JSX. So what this function becomes, this function is actually a functional component which is receiving the props, which is creating a ref, which is using a use state to to store the values of width and height. And we have a component did mount a type of stuff over here, which has a dependencies on this ref. So whenever this component is loaded, we check the ref value. If the ref is present, set the width to compref.current.offset width. Okay, compref.current.offset height, and we pass the properties over here. Now notice how we are doing this. When we return the element, right? So this is the element we received. Okay, what is this element? This element is nothing but comp1. Okay, we pass comp1 to width dimensions. Width dimensions add extra properties, extra props to that comp1 element. Okay, this comp1 element received extra properties. The extra props are attached with comp1, and this comp1 along with the extra properties is returned to the UI. Okay, so this is what it is, right? We set the values of width, we set the values of height, we return a JSX with a ref and with a width and with a height. Okay, and whatever props were there, we pass them as it is. So this is a reason when we do props dot width, right? Remember, in the comp1 we didn't pass any props, right? This is just a blank component. But how come this width property came in comp1? This came because from here width. Okay, because we returned the JSX and we passed extra properties to it, extra props. We passed width, we passed height, and we also passed ref. Now many of you might be aware of the stuff that we cannot pass ref to the functional components, right? If the parent is passing a ref to the child component, this ref keyword is not being passed. If you want to pass the ref keyword to be accessible to the child, you need to basically do a forward ref so that the child has access to the ref property which you sent above. Okay, if it is not clear, then while we code, you'll understand why we need this forward ref. But for now, this was an overview of the scenario that we are going to make. Now let's dive into the code. We have this blank template of code sandbox of a React application. This is the place we are going to write our code, and also I'll be sharing the code sandbox URL in the description of this video so that you can actually do a hands-on on this example. This is very crucial. And also, if you are new to this channel and till now you have liked my content, then please subscribe to this channel and share this. Like, spread the word on LinkedIn, spread the word on Twitter, right? And till the time this channel, like, I'm making this video, I am hoping we have crossed 2K subscriber. And the and yeah, the most important stuff, the aim the like aim for this video is 50 likes. If you see that this video is having likes less than 50, then please do like this video. Do comments, how did you like the overall experience. I have changed the whole setup for you, as you can see, the mic and even the system. Like, we are recording in MacBook this time with high quality graphics. I hope that all of the lags and all of the system delays, degraded videos will not happen now, because we have upgraded everything a completely a great experience for you. I am also working hard on creating a rich content. Then please do support my work. So we had enough chat and now it's time to code. Okay, so we'll explore the files. Let's bring this down. Okay, so we have a app.tsx file. We actually don't need these two. We can get rid of them. And we create a component saying comp1.js. Okay, this comp1.js is nothing, just a dummy component saying const comp1 equals to a function that receives a props. Okay, and it basically returns a div. Okay, saying, hey, I am comp1. Okay, and class name equals to comp1. For example, we will save this file, and we will also export this functional component. Okay, export default comp1, and we are going to import comp1 from dot slash comp1, and we are going to render this comp1 over here. Okay, I am comp1. Perfect. And we actually don't need this, and we want to style the comp1 saying that the height is actually 100 pixel and my width is 150 pixel, for example. Okay, this is the part, and this is a very basic flow. Up till now everything is really simple. Now there's come the scenario where I want to print the width of this particular component. So I'll say, hey, I am comp1 and my width is something which I don't have access to, right? Currently I don't know what is the value, what is the width of this particular component. I am completely unaware. Please make this information available in this component. Okay, Now here comes our HOC pattern. Okay, so we'll create a file. Sorry. Okay, we'll create this file and we'll name it with dimensions in SIO dimensions or JS. Okay, this is our HOC file. So starting with the very basics, we'll create a wrapper function with dimension. Okay, this is going to take element, correct? Element, or I can say component. Okay, that would be much more clearer to you right now. Okay, and we are going to export default with dimensions. Okay, now this component is what? Let me guess. This component we have to pass comp1. Okay, we have to pass comp1 as component, right? So for the starters, I'll show you how do we write, how do we actually incur use the HOC component in any other component. So I'll do is I'll do import with dimensions, import with dimensions from with dimensions, and before exporting, right, before exporting comp1, I'll just wrap this comp1 with dimensions. Okay, for now ignore the errors. Okay, ignore the errors because I'll tell you why we are not seeing anything. First of all, let's focus what is happening over here. As per the definition, right, it receives a component, applies certain logic, and then returns a component with those additional logics. Okay, let's see if it is happening over here. This is a higher order component. It is receiving a component. Okay, so what I am doing is I am making a function call. Okay, let's forget this for now. Okay, and let's have a look at the width dimensions. Width dimension is just a function, right? Just a function, the regular function. And what we are doing over here, we are calling that for executing that function, and whatever is returned from that function, we are exporting it. Okay, are you able to visualize it? Right, we are calling this function, and whatever is the return value after the execution, we are returning it. Okay, so if it was a regular component, comp1, okay, if it was a comp1, so if I write like this, sorry, if I write it like this, export default comp1. So what does it means? Export default comp1 means that this is a function, and whatever is returned from this, what is returned actually? It is we are returning JSX, right? We are returning JSX. So JSX is what returned over here, right? But this is a JSX. So if I write it like this, then what's the harm, right? If this function somehow is capable to return a component, right? Return a component, then everything is fine, right? So this has to return a component. So if I write return component, okay, not like this, in the JSX format, okay, if I write it like this and save it and refresh it, okay, so we are getting some error. Wait, we can fix that. Okay, okay. So what we have to do is whenever this function is executed, it should actually return a JSX. Okay. So what we are doing is actually we are returning this component over here directly. Okay. The only fix which we can think of is like after the execution of this function. Right. So okay. So I think we got misguided over here. Now if I come back to this part, right, uh, export default comp1. Okay, let's just forget with dimensions. Okay, so we are getting everything is fine. So we are actually exporting the function as it is, right? We are not executing the function. Okay, we are not executing the function at this particular moment. Okay, we are just exporting the function so that it is available over here. Now this is our aim. Okay, with dimensions I should be able to return a function but not a JSX. So doing this is completely wrong. Instead, I should return a function. Okay, I should be able to return a function. So I'll name this is as with dimension with dimensions. This is a function with dimensions, and the errors are gone. Now, if inside this function I do return and I write okay, I write component, this is working perfectly fine, right? Now understand what happened when we executed this function, right? We are executing with dimensions. We are executing with dimensions. When this function is executed, it is actually returning a function. This is exactly what we want, right? With dimensions is return, and which is actually returning a JSX, and which is exactly what we need. Now we are one step closer in creating our generic HOC component. Now we are able to wrap our comp1 component inside with dimensions, and because of this we are able to see the values as it is. But this HOC is not adding any extra properties to it right for now. So we'll be dealing with props and properties. And just for the starters, if I write uh, dummy props equals to some value for just for the sake of example. Okay, dummy props. And if I do something like props dot dummy props some value, right? This is what we see. Now see what happened. We return the component that we received when we were calling this function. Okay, and now after receiving that component we are actually returning it. We are returning a functional component that returns a JSX, which is nothing but the component we just received. And when returning the JSX we added some extra properties as well, right? And now we are getting to the point where we are kind of passing valuable properties. We are adding additional properties to this component. Okay, this is working great for us up till now, right? Now let's go ahead and try to fetch the height and width of the component via the concept of refs. Okay, so I'll do it quickly. We can get rid of this for now, and it will stay undefined because actually we are not passing anything. So props is an object. We can't render things like that. Okay, so let's write the main logic. I'll write const width set width equals to use state, and initially I have null. Okay, const height and set height equals to use state, and the value is null again. Perfect. Now I also want to create a ref, right? Const comp ref, okay, equals to use ref. Perfect. Created a ref as well. And yeah, so this is ref equals to oops, sorry, component ref. And I'll tell you the warning over here. So Yeah, so you can see that a warning says function components cannot be given refs, and attempts to access this ref will fail. Do you mean to use React forward yet? Yes, I completely mean to use React forward ref, right? So what we mean that is, if you try, if you try, right, if you try this props.ref, right? Oh wow, where was the value, right? That I'm not able to see anything. So the reason being that is this is the parent component, okay, right? And if parent component wants to pass the value of ref to child component, and if we write it something like this, then the child component won't be able to fetch the value of ref, right? The child component won't be able to get the value of ref. So in order to make this child comp1 become eligible to read the value of ref, we have to use forward ref, okay? So if I do forward ref and I pass comp1, right? So I think, hmm, right, and when doing this, you get the ref as the second parameter of the component. And if I do, let's ignore this for a while, and I just do console.log ref. See, I get the value. Voila. Right. This is perfectly. So this is how it is. The moment you introduce forward ref on a component, you need to add a second parameter, right? That will contain a value of the ref. It doesn't needs to be ref exactly. It can be abc, and if you try to write abc, right, you get it right. Ref is just for the standards, right? We write ref as a second parameter. Okay, this was the part where we discussed the forward ref, and now let's come to this part. Okay, I created a ref. I actually passed the ref. Now how do I get the value of height and width? I think it's really very simple. We need to just use a use effect, okay? And for it, let's call it a component mount, and I'll do if compref dot current if the ref is present, right? So set width with compref dot current dot offset width, and do a set height. Oops, and do a set height of compref dot current dot offset height. Okay, this is perfect, and we have to pass compref as a dependency, right? And yeah, this is pretty much it. If we do height equals to height and width equals to width, okay, and now if we try to do my width is props dot width, I must get the value. I must refresh it. Okay, somehow I am not getting the value. Okay, we'll see to that. Oh, okay, I think I found the issue. We actually are not utilizing this ref over here, is what I'm saying, because in order to have a offset width and offset height, this particular ref which we passed needs to be hooked to a particular DOM element, right? And when we were using forward ref, this ref property, right, we were not actually utilizing it. And for the sake of simplicity, let's name this ref as forwarded ref from parent, right? This makes much more sense. And if I do ref equals to forwarded ref from parent. Yeah, see, I get the width over here, right? Yeah, and one more thing. If for example I say what we should call random number. Okay, just let's for the example, I say random example as 1 2 3, right? I save it, and if I try to access, and my random number is, and if I try to do props dot random number, whoa, I'm not getting it. What's the issue, right? Take a pause. Okay, take a pause and figure out what we are missing in this particular section. Okay, now I assume you have taken a proper pause. Now let's talk about this. So when returning the like, we have already discussed that this is acting like a functional component. So functional components do receive props, right? And this is the part where props, we need to pass those values as well, right? We are introducing new we are actually introducing new props, but we also have to make sure that whatever props this particular component is receiving, that too are also forwarded, right? We can't lose on existing props that have been given to the component, right? If I change a value to 5, you can see that the value is being reflected, and we also getting the width as well, right? So this is a pretty great example of using higher order components, and I hope you like this video. Do support this channel. We are growing at an extremely fast rate, and I have many such interactive and educative videos planned for you. And the only aim for this channel is to help you clear front end interviews, help you crack a good product based company, and make you a good front end developer. So let's be a part of JS Cafe. Join us, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with your friends and peer. And if you see the likes on the video are less than 50, then please go ahead and smash that like button. And yeah, this was all in this video. Till then, take care. Goodbye. See you in the next one.